Hello everyone, this is Varsha and I once again welcome you all to our special series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. So once again we are here with you all to discuss the success story of one more achiever of our, and this time we have with us Mr. Pushkar Gokhale, who is the Vice President and Global Head of Marketing and Sales of Godrej and Boys. A result-oriented, decisive leader, Mr. Pushkar Gokhale has a proven track record of spearheading operational improvements to drive productivity and cost reduction to excel in the VUCA world. By profession, a mechanical engineer and done his MBA from a premier B school. He is also a certified disaster management and business continuity planning professional. 30 years of rich corporate experience building businesses leadership as well as a thought leadership by thinking ahead and maintaining a strategic position for the organization. Besides being the winner of Indian Achievers Award from Indian Achievers Forum, Mr. Gokhale has been the Platinum Award winner in the Outstanding Managers contest conducted by Confederation of Indian Industry. But before we actually start the conversation with him, let's quickly have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very good afternoon to you all.
All right, sir. So before we actually start our conversation, I'm very keen to ask you that if you can please share with us your recipe of success.
Yeah, so I normally follow the rule of three. So I want to tell you all three rules or three mantras of success. I think which have been there and which will remain there forever, despite all kinds of disruptions, all kinds of innovations. So the mantra number one is that one man army is a myth. I think it is good for movies, but I don't think it is good or it's even prevalent or relevant in an organizational context. And I'll tell you why. I think it's very, very important to have a strong, solid, empowered team if you really want to achieve success. And I think that's where leaders have to spend significant amount of time in terms of grooming their team members, in terms of growing their team members and empowering them with skill sets. And that's where I think knowledge management is very, very important. So that's number one. The number two mantra is that when you talk about an organization, you will see there are several departments which basically keep running in parallel. But I think one single department cannot make it to success. I think the recipe for success is, if at all these departments have to work together. And the critical aspect is that how well are these teams or these departments working closely. There's a concept called cross-functional team. So one has to really assess the success from the point of view of how well oiled is this particular cross-functional team networking. Unless you have this at the core, you will never be able to achieve success. Cross-functional teams need to be aligned with the organizational objective. Everybody should be aligned with the same goal. Otherwise, you will never be able to achieve success. And third, last but not the least, I think systems, processes are very, very important. If you really want to have a predictable and sustainable success, you need to have a solid background of good, effective processes and systems in place, and one needs to really follow it properly. So deployment is important, discipline is important, and of course you need to have these good processes going for you. So these are the three mantras for success, which are eternal fundamentals for any organization, and I completely believe in this.
Very correctly said, sir. So now, sir, moving ahead, every field or every profession has its own pros and cons, and nothing comes that easy to us. So, what are the challenges that has been faced by Godrej, and also how has Godrej managed to increase and maintain a dominant share of the market for decades?
Yeah, so it's a very good question and pertinent. I think I just spoke about how does one manage the internal challenges. I told you about the three mantras for success to manage internals. But I think externally also there are a lot of challenges which one organization faces. And I think that's where we at Godrej have believed, when you talk about the market side of, you talk about competition or you talk about growth in the market, you talk about changing market dynamics. I think one thing which we have believed in at the core is innovation, which is led by customer centricity. And let me just elaborate this particular phrase, because giving you an example, I'm sure you would be using a safe deposit locker and you would be having it in a bank, right? So when we went about developing a new concept for safe deposit lockers, we went in and actually discussed with a lot of customers, end users who are using our safe deposit lockers. We went and asked them, what else do you want in a safe deposit locker? Or kya chahiye? And there came in so many insights from the users, from the consumers, which we were able to incorporate in our designs and come up with a very great kind of product, which is a super success today. So, in short, we have a multi-generation product planning process, a very robust one, which is basically, developed based on this lot of research which we conduct of our consumers. We get into a lot of insights, and this is something which is at the core. The second thing which we have been actually working on is to create a very robust risk mitigation or a risk management framework, because in this today's VUCA world, everything keeps changing, and the risk needs to be really really managed well. And that's why I think we manage that challenge through having a very very effective risk management framework.
Right, sir. So now moving ahead, though the concept of becoming Atmanirbhar has been there between us since very long, but then the gone 2 years or 2.5 years has made us all realize how important it is to become Atmanirbhar. So, what do you have to say on this Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign, and also how is your organization working towards this?
Yeah, I think this is a very, very great question, I would say, because, when we talk about Make in India, I think the government has a phenomenal drive right now on this very, very important aspect. So, talking about our company, Godrej, we are a 120-year plus kind of organization. We started in the pre-independence era and have been growing past the post-independence era, if I were to say that. I think the roots of our organization are so well ingrained into this concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And when I look at this company, we are a manufacturing-led, design-backed kind of organization. And we really have the key attributes which are required for Atmanirbharta. And when I look at our organization, our focus has actually always been on building the nation. So whenever the nation has wanted, say, a made in India kind of capability build, we have been there. So if you talk about the Indian space mission, or you talk about defense equipment, I think we have the group has immense contribution to these areas. And I think since the government has such a robust and huge pipeline of projects in this area, Godrej Group's contribution to the building of nation will keep growing. So that's how I look at Atmanirbharta. I think we are quite well poised to take the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission ahead with a lot of vigor, with a lot of energy. And this is something which is being driven right from the top. Mr. Godrej himself is driving this agenda.
Amazing, sir. So now, moving ahead, sir, what are your thoughts on how organizations can make a difference beyond profits? And also, if we can elaborate on the contribution to ESG, that is environment, social, and governance.
Yeah, I think ESG is very crucial today. In fact, the government has taken very stiff targets as far as the net zero is concerned. I think it is being driven right from the top, from Mr. Modi's office himself. I mean, that's something which is driving it. See, when you look at any organization, I think we have grown with 4 P's of marketing, and I'm sure the viewers are aware of it. But I think time is ripe to bring in a concept of 3 P's of purpose of an organization. And when I simply put these 3 P's, I'm talking about people, planet, and profit. So I think time is really ripe that we focus on these 3 areas of purpose of an organization. And if I were to really relate all this to our organization, I think there is a huge amount of focus, huge amount of drive, right from the top. And when I say that, day in, day out, we have been experiencing and we've been seeing how Mr. Godrej is driving this particular ESG agenda, the climate change. There's a lot of work which is happening. He himself is driving it. And not just Mr. Godrej, but the entire family is committed to it. And they are actually setting a great precedent for the entire organization to follow. And that's where what we have actually done is we have converted the objectives of ESG into stringent targets, so that you quantify those and then you measure those your performance against those targets. And year on year, I think for more than last decade, we have been achieving these targets on this ESG, environment, social, and governance framework. And of course, I think we are here to really take this particular ESG thing forward very proactively. So I really admire this organization for the kind of work they are doing. And each and every member of the team, of the Godrej team, is really committed to working on this ESG framework.
So now, though I know it's always a very wonderful feeling when we get recognitions for our work, still I would love to know from you that what are your feelings on winning this Indian Achievers Award?
Yeah, so I think Indian Achievers Forum has been there for more than 2 decades, and I think it has created a great benchmark, and the kind of work which IIF is doing is phenomenal. So it's really a great feeling to be awarded, getting this Indian Achievers Award for business leadership. It's a great feeling. It's a motivating factor, and it's something which you've been working for such a long time, and if you get recognized, I think what does happen is you really get motivated to do something more, and that's something which has happened to me as well. So really, it's a great feeling, and I'm highly motivated, charged up to contribute more.
I once again congratulate you on this achievement of yours, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, sir. So now, before concluding our lovely session, any advice which you want to give to our young aspiring professionals, please?
Yeah, so of course, I don't think that I've attained that kind of stature to really give an advice, but I can just share again the rule of 3, uh, which I think I have been following, and definitely it makes sense to do that. The rule number 1, which I think everyone should keep in mind, is of course that there are 2 sets of people. One set of people keeps watching things happen, and the other set actually makes things happen. So we have to decide which lot we need to really belong to, and for that you need to really take a lot of ownership, a lot of initiative, and make things happen. I think that's something which is the rule number 1. The second, of course, which is I think more relevant to the last 2 years of the pandemic and the kind of disruptions which have happened, I think tough people last tough situations don't. So that's the second. And the third, which I think is a very favorite quote of the great Jack Welch, is that when you are becoming a leader, it is about your growth, it's about growing yourself. But once you become a leader, it's about others growth. So that's the third rule which I have always kept in my mind. And so this is something which I feel are my advice or my suggestions to the audience.
Lovely piece of advice, I must say, sir. So, thank you so very much for your time today, sir. It was lovely talking to you. And I wish you all the success for all your future endeavors as well. And may you continue to inspire us the way you are doing. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you so much.